In this video, we will discuss about the first part of gastrointestinal tract. The mouth is otherwise called oral cavity. It extends from lips to oropharyngeal isthmus. Oropharyngeal isthmus is the junction of mouth and pharynx. It is subdivided into vestibule and oral cavity proper. Oral cavity is subdivided into vestibule, first part, and second part, oral cavity proper. About the vestibule of oral cavity. It is a slit-like space between cheeks and gums. It communicates with the exterior through oral fissure. When the jaws are closed, it communicates with the oral cavity proper behind the third molar teeth on each side. It is covered by mucous membrane. This is the slit-like space on left side and it is the vestibule on right side. Left side vestibule and right side vestibule. Oral cavity fissure is the opening through which it communicates with the exterior. Like when the jaws are closed, it communicates with the oral cavity proper behind the third molar. The lateral wall is formed by cheek. There is a small papilla on the mucosa opposite the second molar teeth. This is the second molar teeth, and here there is a papilla into which the duct of parotid gland open, and that papilla is called a parotid papilla. This is the parotid gland. This is the parotid duct. It opens into parotid papilla opposite to the second molar teeth in the vestibule. The second part, oral cavity proper. The green colored part here in this picture is the oral cavity proper. Its roof is formed by hard palate anteriorly and soft palate posteriorly. The floor is formed by mylohyoid muscle. The anterior two-thirds of the tongue lies on its floor. The green colored part is the oral cavity proper, that is inner to the teeth, upper and lower row of teeth. It has a roof and a floor. Floor is formed by mylohyoid muscle and anterior two-thirds of the tongue lies on the floor. And the roof is by hard palate anteriorly and soft palate posteriorly. About the floor of the mouth, it is covered by mucous membrane. In the midline, a mucosal fold called frenulum connects the tongue to the floor of the mouth. Here you can see this is the mucosal fold named as lingual frenulum. It connects the tongue to the floor of the mouth. Then on each side of lingual frenulum there is a papilla into which the duct of submandibular gland open. This is the sublingual gland. Near to that is the duct of submandibular gland open on either side of lingual frenulum. The nerve supply of oral cavity. The nerve supply is from three nerves. The greater palatine and nasopalatine nerves of maxillary nerve, lingual and buccal nerve of mandibular nerve. The motor supply is from branches of facial nerve. That is about the oral cavity. Next about the next part or next component in the mouth is the tongue. Tongue is a mass of striated muscles. It is covered by mucous membrane. It is divided into right and left half by a median septum. Also, it has three parts: oral, pharyngeal and root. The oral part is the anterior two-third. It has a tip as well. The pharyngeal part is the posterior one-third. And the root is otherwise called the base. It has two surfaces, dorsal and ventral. About the dorsal surface of the tongue. It is divided into anterior two-third and posterior one-third. by a V-shaped sulcus terminalis. V-shaped sulcus terminalis. The apex of the sulcus faces backward and there is a pit called a foramen cecum. The dorsal surface is divided into anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3 by sulcus terminalis. The apex is turned backward and there is a pit called a foramen cecum. The anterior 2/3 of dorsal surface, it is rough and shows several types of papilla. This is the anterior surface, shows several types of papilla, namely fungiform, conical, filiform, foliate and vallate. The posterior 1/3 has no papilla but shows nodular surface. This is the nodules on the posterior 1/3. About the ventral surface of tongue, it is smooth. There is no papilla. In the midline, as we have seen already, a mucosal fold called frenulum or lingual frenulum connects the tongue to the floor of the mouth. Lateral to frenulum, there is deep lingual vein. Lateral to lingual vein, we can see another fold of mucosa named plica fimbriata. This is the lingual frenulum. On either side of the lingual frenulum, there is papilla into which duct of mandibular gland opens. Then lateral to frenulum you can see deep lingual vein, blue colored one, and lateral to deep lingual vein there is mucous fold called plica fimbriata. This is plica fimbriata. Coming to the muscles of tongue. We already told it is a mass of striated muscles. There are two groups of muscles, intrinsic and extrinsic. The extrinsic muscles include longitudinal fibers, transverse fibers and vertical fibers. They function to alter the shape of the tongue. The vertical fibers, transverse fibers and the longitudinal fibers, intrinsic muscles. About the extrinsic muscles, they attach the tongue to the surrounding bony structures like a soft palate and bones like a mandible, hyoid bone and styloid process. It includes muscles such as stylohyoides, hypoglossus, genioglossus, geniohyoides and styloglossus. Its function is to help in the movements of the tongue. Extrinsic muscles help in the movements of the tongue. About the nerve supply of the tongue, anterior 2/3 is by lingual nerve and chordae tympani. Posterior 1/3 glossopharyngeal nerve and base internal pharyngeal nerve. This is the right half and left half of the tongue by a median septum. The anterior 1/3 is by lingual nerve and chordae tympani. Here you can see overlapping of nerve supply. Posterior 1/3 by glossopharyngeal nerve and the base is by internal pharyngeal nerve. The motor nerve supply comes from hypoglossal and pharyngeal plexus. All the muscles are supplied by hypoglossal nerves and the pharyngeal plexus. The arteries are lingual artery, tonsillar branchiofascial artery and ascending pharyngeal artery. The veins are lingual vein. Here you can see lingual artery and vein. Here you can see dorsal lingual artery and vein. This is the deep lingual vein. About the lymphatic drainage. The tip of the tongue is drained by submental nodes, anterior 2/3 by submandibular nodes and posterior 1/3 by deep cervical nodes, mainly jugulodigastric ones. The tip by submental, anterior 2/3 submandibular and posterior 1/3 jugulodigastric in deep cervical chain. There is a condition called tongue tie. It is otherwise called ankyloglossia. Already we see lingual frenulum here attaching the tongue to the floor of the mouth. When this lingual frenulum is very large, it creates a condition called a tongue tie, where the movement of the tongue is restricted. That is called the ankyloglossia. The next structure in the oral cavity is palate. It lies in the roof of oral cavity. The roof is formed by palate. It has two parts, a bony part and a muscular part. The bony part is called a hard palate, that is anterior. The muscular part is called a soft palate and it is posterior. This is the hard palate and this is a soft palate. Here is the oral cavity. So the roof is formed by palate and the floor is formed by tongue. About the hard palate, as we have seen, it lies in the roof of the oral cavity and also it forms the floor of the nasal cavity. It is formed by union of palatine process of maxilla, horizontal plates of palatine bones, and it is bounded by alveolar arch. This is the alveolar arch, rounded by or bounded by alveolar arch. This is horizontal plate of palatine bone on one side and this is on the other side, right and left. When these processes unite to form, it forms the posterior portion of hard palate. The anterior portion is formed by union of palatine process of maxilla on one side and this is on the other side. Posteriorly, it is continuous with the soft palate. Its undersurface is covered by mucoperiosis. About the soft palate, it is attached to posterior border of hard palate, or hard palate is soft palate is the continuation of hard palate posteriorly. Its upper and lower surface is covered by mucous membrane, and this soft palate consists of muscle, aponeurosis, lymphoid tissue, glands, blood vessels, and nerves of various types. About the aponeurosis in the soft palate, it is a fibrous sheath. It is attached to the posterior border of hard palate. It is the expanded tendon of tensor veli palatini. It is split to enclose the muscle musculus ubuli. It gives origin and insertion to several palatine muscles. This is the palatine aponeurosis. Here you can see a muscle tensor veli palatini. So it expands to form this aponeurosis. It is an extension of tensor veli palatini. It is the muscle. It split or divides into two to enclose a muscle called the musculus ubuli. Then this aponeurosis gives origin and insertion of several palatine muscles. The muscles that origin and insert into soft palate include: number 1, tensor veli palatini, levator veli palatini, and musculus ubuli. In this image, you can see tensor veli palatini here, which extend to form the aponeurosis. This is levator veli palatini. This is musculus ubuli. The fourth muscle is palatoglossus and the fifth one is palatopharyngeus. In this image, you can see the palatoglossus muscle and palatopharyngeus muscles. These are the four muscles that gives origin and insertion from and to the soft palate. It is mostly by maxillary nerve through its branches. The branches are three in number: greater palatine nerve, lesser palatine nerve, and nasopalatine nerve. The entire palate is supplied by mostly by maxillary nerve and its branches. Then the soft palate is supplied by glossopharyngeal nerve. For the motor nerve supply, all the muscles except tensor veli palatini are supplied by pharyngeal plexus. The tensor veli palatini muscle is supplied by a branch of trigeminal nerve from mandibular division. About the blood supply, it is through branches of maxillary artery. It includes greater palatine, lesser palatine, and sphenopalatine. Additional blood supply comes from ascending palatine, a branch of facial artery, and ascending pharyngeal artery, a branch of external carotid artery. Here you can see ascending palatine artery, lesser palatine artery, greater palatine artery, and sphenopalatine artery. About the clinical conditions affecting the palate. Cleft means a gap or an opening. In this image you can see the gap and opening in the lips, and here you can see the gap and opening in the lips and the palate. Already we told the palate is formed by union of maxillary and palatine bones. When they fail to close or fuse together, it results in the gap, and that gap is called the cleft palate. It can be unilateral on one side or bilateral on both sides or median, it means in the center. The other condition is the paralysis of the soft palate. It will result in difficulty in closure of pharyngeal isthmus during swallowing and speech. Normally, pharyngeal isthmus, it is seen here, it will close or it will move upward to close the nasal cavity during swallowing and speech. In paralysis of soft palate, there is failure of closure of pharyngeal isthmus. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share.